Crazy Cat says, Yellow Flash, will your comic Golden Patriot feature scenes of children being abused and violated like your favorite anime Redo of Healer does? Redo of Healer does. What is that about?
Oh, it's a crazy anime. No, it's not going to have anybody being hurt.
Oh, good.
Interestingly, Flash never denied liking Redo of Healer or that the show featured child abuse, and Stuttering Craig didn't press him any farther. On the surface, Flash may seem like the type of guy the right wants to get behind, someone who publicly says Christ is king when the phrase is trending, and who decries Netflix's cuties. Is Yellow Flash a base defender of traditional values, or does he delight in entertainment far darker and degenerate than you could imagine? Let's take a look at Yellow Flash and these claims levied against him. Now, we will talk about the show Redo of Healer, and look at how Flash defended it. For those who don't know, Redo of Healer is an anime that has a fantasy background. It centers on a magic healer, who goes back in time to exact revenge on people who have hurt him in some way. In full transparency, I haven't seen the show, and I won't, because it's extremely degenerate, and we know that because we can read parent guides and the reviews of people who have subjected themselves to it. Let's just take a quick look at what this poster on Reddit says about the show. Firstly, I'll talk about the story itself. If you had a machine that watched thousands upon thousands of hours of generic isekai and fantasy anime, then made it generate a world based on that info, you'd probably get something a hell of a lot more interesting than Redo of Healer. It's this dull, uninspired world where nothing is ever explained, and any interesting ideas a show could have are quickly forgotten of, as the show moves to the next undercooked idea. Now you might be thinking, what's so bad about that? It just sounds like another generic bad fantasy anime. Just drop it and go on with your life. Well, dear reader, that's where you'd be wrong. See, in order to appeal to these legions of demented weebs, who have gotten their minds melted by hentai and Reddit circle jerks, Redo of Healer features excessive amounts of rape. To give some context of what I mean, the main character hates using his healing ability, so in order to have him to be of use to her, the princess of the castle he lives at locks him up, tortures him, drugs him, and rapes him over the course of 6 months. This scene was extremely hard to sit through, and I actually began to gag at one point. That was the least tame of the 3 rape scenes in that episode. That's right, in a single 20-minute episode of anime, they managed to fit 3 rape scenes. Now, aside from the show being an artistic failure, it is extremely degenerate. The only reason why it isn't considered CP is because it's animated, essentially creating a loophole, allowing the show to be legal. The main character goes back in time to torture a teenage girl. Her age isn't specified. Most think she's between 13 and 16 though. He breaks her fingers one by one, and says if she doesn't scream, he'll let her go. Then when she only has 1 finger left, he magically heals her hands and begins to break them again. He then breaks the teenage girl's legs, and says he'll violate her using a hot metal rod, unless she begs him to do it, in which case he'll only violate her with his body. Flash actually took an image from the scene and made it a thumbnail for one of his videos. After the protagonist threatens the girl with a scorching rod, they have unconsensual relations, and to my understanding it's very graphic. Let's look at what the IMDb parent guide says. Not only does it depict rape, but the actual body parts, and even ejaculation are shown. And again, this is all happening with a minor. The only reason this isn't classified as CP is because it's animated. I'm assuming most of you are probably against this show, and if you're a fan of Yellow Flash, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me up to this point. I know it's really easy to instantly reject something when it's about a figure you respect and have spent hours listening to, and hopefully my coverage can help you understand him a little better. Now that you know what Redo of Healer is, let's take a look at how Yellow Flash covered it.
There's been a lot of people from the West that have decided recently that they are the authority on what is and is not allowed to come over to the West for adaptation when it comes to anime and manga. And one of the franchises that I thought was really going to spark a lot of attention on social media was Redo of Healer.
Yeah, surprise, people don't want animated CP. And for some reason though, Flash refers to these people as Puritans.
This show will eventually get its due with the Twitter Puritans and all of the prudes that are in the anime industry. We don't even need to get into Funimation. This is why you won't be able to dub this show. Because a bunch of people that would never watch it in the first place or even read it in the first place don't like that it exists, so they want to ruin the fun for everybody else.
I know this may be a little hard to fathom, so if you want to see the entirety of Flash's commentary, I can't play the whole video here. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to take the video down. Flash has blocked me on Twitter, and I'm concerned he'll try nuking this too. If you appreciate my commentary, I'd recommend subscribing in case he tries censoring me. That way I can still keep you up to date, in case the video gets temporarily removed. Anyway, there are a few more intricacies to discuss. First, make sure to hit the like button. One of the most bizarre parts of Flash's commentary is that he avoided saying why the show is being censored. I was a fan of Flash when I first listened to this video. I didn't think much of it. At the time, I had no idea what redo of Healer was, and I assumed that Yellow Flash was just talking about woke people who were afraid of the female figure or something. Kind of like the Stellar Blade drama. But oh, was I mistaken. I later learned how depraved the show was, and it made me see Flash in a completely different light. It's fascinating because he painted the show as being censored using conservative buzzwords. But he never explained why the show was controversial, which leads me to wonder how many more of his viewers were duped like me, and how would they feel if they knew the truth, that Flash enjoys a show about a girl being abused in the most psychotic ways. Now, to see how his audience would react, I went to see how they responded to one of his videos about cuties. This show is way worse than Cuties. To be clear, I'm not defending Cuties, but Redo of Healer depicted the violation of girls, with fluids and all. When you look at how Flash's audience reacted to Cuties, they said some things like, how could you defend a pedo movie? Or, only the far right would oppose pedo images. Or, this person who said anyone who likes this movie should be on a watch list. This is how the audience felt about people who watched a movie featuring little girls twerking. How do they feel about Flash watching full-on violation of a minor? Should he be on a list too?